Just about to drop into the next. It kind of rides pretty well, but the front end does feel a bit low, so I've just changed spaces around the stem. It does feel a little bit low on the front end. Alright, almost up to run number 3. And sweaty. It's not too bad pedaling this, but it is definitely a bit heavier than the privateer. Absolutely. So I thought I'd do a quick summary of that ride. Really short, quick ride, just at a local place. Nothing like massive or crazy. And I think it went pretty well. I think literally I can't really fault it, except the fact that the front end feels really low. So I can't help but think that maybe the geometry is a bit incorrect in that area, or there's been a bit of distortion or something in the welding. Put that aside, it does feel pretty cool. It feels pretty quick and smooth. Rear shock's only a cheap shock and doesn't have much rebound, so a little bit bouncy when you're trying to jump and hop, but actually feels pretty stiff, solid. Climbing's okay. Yeah, the only thing I think is just that low front end, so possibly I could get some higher rise bars and give it another test with those, and that might improve it a little bit. I have got some more headset spaces to bring the stem up, but it will look pretty weird and stupid probably if I did that. So yeah, overall pretty good, pretty happy with that, and that's that episode done. Again, we are on our way to another riding spot for another small test ride on the homemade project bike. So this spot's more natural, more downhilly, more enduro sort of stuff, so it's going to definitely be more of a test on the bike and the strength of the bike. Front end stuff was a little bit low, from what I said before on the first ride, it feels a bit low, but I'll play a little bit around with the stem spacing, and then at some stage I will order some higher rise bars as well, and hoping that the combination of that will sort that sort of lower end feeling out. See how we get on. quite as sort of planted, I think, as my main bike, because I think it's sort of hard to say really, but I think because the rear end is a bit longer and